So this is Baruch Fleischman here at the Tikkun Elevator Call. It's another shir here for the month of Elul. As we're moving through this book by this Rabbi, they call him from the teachings of a Rabbi, the Goen and Tzaddik Rabbi Yitzchak Meyer Morgenstern Shlita. And this is the Yam, let's see if we can see it down here. Yeah, the Yam HaChochma, Sea of Wisdom. Now, so basically his Talmidim, I have other svarim of his in Hebrew, and that's what happens. He has a small group, maybe, I don't know if it's small or big, but an inner circle certainly that listens to his shiurim and writes them down. He's somebody who writes them down, and they put them together, and here we have him over here. I believe I never met Rabbi Morgenstern, but I did, of course, learn with Rabbi Mimran for a few years. He, I think, is a contemporary of Rabbi Morgenstern because he quotes him to a certain extent. They're in the yeshiva together in Gateshead. So exactly what their relationship, I don't know. But these are contemporary, as I said before, of people of our time who are really coming out with, serious Kabbalah here. Serious. Let's come over here and look at this new piece. It's called The Way of Teshuvah, closing one's eyes from this world. So he writes like this: one must know that wherever a Jew falls into sin, chas v'shalom, it's not because he wants to upset Hashem. It's because the souls of the Jewish people have a great longing and yearning for the light of Keser, which is the light of purity, the light of what we call, in Kabbalah, it's called whiteness, like the white that's behind the page. It's blank, but without it, you don't have any words. So think back through that, try to understand that metaphor. We're learning for the light of Hashem, which is the infinite light of Hashem that shined completely before Hashem created the universe. Sometimes one mistakenly channels this longing in the wrong direction. However, the error the sinner makes is the use of the light of Keser in a forbidden manner when he could have used it in a permissible, desirable manner. Now let's see how we can explain that. What is a forbidden manner, I say? And what's a desirable manner? When the light of Keser is used in a forbidden manner, it creates a huge barrier between one and Hashem. Rahmana, and this is Rahmana Litzlan, there should be only Rahmanas for all of the Jewish people. When that happens, instead of causing the light of Yechidah Elul to shine in the lower world, so let's get this word here. The light of Yehuda, well, he pronounced it Yehuda Elul. So this is the light of Hashem, which is much, much too great for us to be able to digest. So it shines from a great distance because of the power of that light towards us. So he says, causing the light of Yehuda Elul to shine in the lower worlds of Bria, Yitzir, and Asiya, where we are. One causes a concealment, but when this happens, it causes concealment and prevention for the light of Hashem to descend onto these worlds, then turns Keser, which is the word for crown, those three letters, Kaf, Taf, and Resh, into the word Kares, being cut off from Hashem. So it's possible to be in the flow, in the balance of the light, and so we struggle to find our way to the light and try to stay with the light, and try to build the light, try to promote the light. But there are things that we do that steer the light in the wrong direction. It manifests in lots of different ways. When a Yid does an Aveira Chas v'Shalom, he cannot return to Hashem through the way by which he fell into the sin. This is represented by the lower opening of the letter Hey. Now remember, the Hey is like, well, I could just draw it right here. It's like this. That's a Hey. So it has wide open at the bottom. So he says, he will need to change paths and ways from being connected to the separated worlds of Beria and Yitzir and Asiya, and forcefully push himself to connect with the world of Atzilus. So he's writing in Ashkenaz. So this is represented by the higher opening towards the top of the letter of Hey. So there's a higher letter, there's another letter like this. So this could either go this way or that way. So what's the Hey represent anyway? It represents a house. Okay, this is the concept of a house. And the light of Hashem is inside the house. But the light of Hashem could go the wrong way or it could go upwards. So in terms of avoda, this means one needs to close his eyes from the materialistic world and from everything that seems to be separated from Hashem and enter a vision of seeing how everything is really one with Hashem. So he says, let's get it, these words, enter a vision. In other words, in your mind's eye. And this is what thing that Rabbi Memran says all the time, is your thought, your direction is you. Everything is the kavana of your thought, because really the concept of Kesser itself is the main kavana, it's the will of reality. Through closing his eyes from the world during his Torah learning and during his tefillos, he can arise out of the separate worlds of Bria, we call Bia and Kabbalah, and out of the darkness and feelings of disconnection with Hashem. Then he will be elevated to the level in which he desires nothing other than to see the light emanating from the face, so to speak, of the living God. And in other words, the intimacy of being close to one who loves you unconditionally and wants to shine that light of his love onto you. But you have to get yourself in position. So he says, close your eyes to this world. We must learn and internalize the way of the Hasidim and Rishonim, the original pious ones, he says, who prepared themselves 1 hour before each tefillah, before praying, and divested themselves of their own physicality to concentrate only on Hashem. Now then, this is an avodah. We're a person, we have needs, we all have needs, we're all needy, they're all physical needs. Can you nullify that? So he says, through closing their eyes and disconnecting from the reality of the worlds of Bria, Yitzir, and Asiyah, that are seemingly disconnected from Hashem, they rose to an aspect of Alokos. This is the way of Teshuvah of David HaMelech, of our king, David HaMelech. And through it, and through that, one becomes worthy throughout the entire year to remain on the mountain of Hashem. This opens the well springs of the inner wisdom to a person. See, that's the idea. This is what in Kabbalah they call this Mochin the Godless. But Mochin the Godless can only be achieved. This is the main thing. So we want something from high above to come down into us. That's Mochin the Godless. Awareness of Hashem. But there's only one path to do that. That's the path to go to the bottom of your own shame and ask for forgiveness. That's Teshuvah. That's the prayer from the bottom. So he said this opens the well springs of the inner wisdom to a person. The Torah of the Tzaddikim, the Torah of Atikas Timor, the ancient and hidden Atikas Timor. He says, this is the light of Kesser. The Targum translates the pasuk, this part, V'shavtem b'mayim, V'shavtem mayim b'sason, me'enei ha'Yeshua. So he said, you shall draw water in joy from the well springs of salvation, and you will receive a new level from the finest of tzaddikim, which is the preface to the light of the Geula. This can all be brought down, and we work on it, and this is what we ultimately want, is to connect to that tremendous, tremendous light. This is Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun Elevator Kolal, Rabbi Yitzchak Meyer, I think you pronounce it Meyer, Morgenstern.